Hey YouTube, it's Ashley. So I am following up for my first video where I talked about all of the pre-op processes and procedures that my program wants me to go through. I had my first appointment with the nutritionist last week. It was an hour and a half long, and I have to have 5 more. So it's a 6-month nutritionist program, and this is kind of like the first and the longest step of my pre-op process that my insurance and program requires. So my first visit was with the program nutritionist, so pretty much all she works with is bariatric surgery patients, so I like that. She was super friendly and non-judgmental, and just she didn't assume that I knew anything. So she started at the very basics, but then once she saw that I'd dieted a lot and kind of knew like how to eat healthy, we don't do it as much. She kind of catered her lesson, I guess we'd call it, to me and to my experience level. So I really enjoyed my first meeting with her. And I've got 5 more, so I'm glad that I like her because I'm going to see her up until my surgery, and I'll see her after my surgery. And also, I just noticed the hair is doing a little crazy. So sorry, it's hashtag not sorry. We had an 80s day at work, so I moved it from the side to the top. And I don't know which is more basic, but whatever, it's fine. So this appointment with the nutritionist. Basically, the first one was an hour and a half long. The other 5 will only be 30 minutes. So she just this first one was just kind of like an assessment. For my first visit with the program coordinator, I had to fill out like a huge long packet of paperwork all about like my diet history and what I've tried and how I eat and what I have on a normal day. So she basically just went through that with me, looked at kind of what I eat on a normal day or on a weekly basis, talked to me about all the diets that I tried in the past. And what I really liked is that, I've been a vegetarian and vegan in the past, and she did not like raise an eyebrow at that at all. She's like, that's, it's fine. If that worked for you, that's great. If you want to go back to that after having bariatric surgery, you can. And I'm willing to work with you on, creating meal plans for that meet your calorie needs and your nutritional needs. So I really like that. Some weight loss communities are not super friendly toward veganism or vegetarianism. So I like that she was, and was just willing to work with me on what my needs are. So basically, she gave me a bunch of paperwork, and the first thing that she gave me was a calorie breakdown, and it looks pretty much just like a paper MyFitnessPal. She gave me goals for each meal. So like for breakfast, I'm supposed to have a 300 calorie breakfast, followed by a mid-morning snack, 400 calorie lunch, 100 calorie afternoon snack, 500 calorie dinner, and then 100 calorie evening snack. And that is 1,500 calories a day. She just wants me to track in like MyFitnessPal or something, which is what I've already been using, and I'm familiar with it, so that works. MyFitnessPal currently has me at a 2,000 calorie a day goal, and that was for a very slow weight loss. So dropping down to 1,500 scares me a little. I'm worried about being hungry, or worried about just being kind of, like a snacky person who likes to eat all the time. So I have not super tried to stick to her diet plan. I had a wedding to go to this weekend, and we're leaving for Disney World this Saturday. So it's like, okay, I will just do my best until we get back from Disney World, and that's when I'm going to hit it hard and heavy. My nutritionist advised me that I cannot gain weight in these 6 months. She said that if I gain weight in these 6 months, my insurance will deny me for the surgery. I don't know if that was just to scare me or if that's true, but I'm going to listen to her and I'm going to do my best. She didn't. I've read in a couple forums that people are worried about losing too much weight on this nutritionist supervised diet. I am not worried about that. I have to fight for like every single pound that I lose. I have PCOS, and so that just makes it harder to kind of shed pounds. So I'm not super worried about losing too much weight. Like that is not a fear that I have at all. So, but her meal plan was, aside from the calories, like the meals that she suggested were kind of your just standard like healthy eating plan. She showed me, like, she had a little plate, a little rubber food. It was totally unappetizing, but like the plate plan where like half your plate is vegetables and a quarter of it is starch and a quarter of it is meat. Familiar with that. I try to eat that way anyway, not always super successful. But that was just kind of like the model. So she just kind of wanted to make sure that I knew like what a starchy vegetable was versus a regular like leafy vegetable. Kind of went over, she gave me, I'm just going to look at the stuff that she gave me, healthy lunch ideas. And it's like a 2-page document of just, suggestions on the, oh, it's front and back. So it's 3 pages. Quick healthy breakfast ideas. Breakfast ideas, less than 300 calories. Okay, and this cracks me up. Fruit smoothies for less than 300 calories. This document is 8 pages long. Hilarious. Because I don't even drink smoothies. I used to, like, all the time when I was running. But I just, like, the blender is a hassle, and the NutriBullet, the seal, whatever. So I have 8 pages of smoothie recipes that I'm probably not going to use. She gave me, like, a list of healthy websites to go to, a shopping guide. Basically, it's like any kind of like intro packet to any diet you've ever done. So if you ever, tried to just eat a healthy diet, like nothing that my nutritionist gave me was any kind of surprise, which I guess is good that I don't have to like totally learn a new way to eat as far as what I'm eating for this 6-month plan. Um, so she was just a good resource for me this first visit. Just any questions that I had about like what eating is like after the surgery, or where I'm supposed to get my protein, that much protein, like just she kind of answered just all those kind of questions and assuaged some fears that I'd had about those. Um, Interestingly, what came up in our conversation a lot was like why I eat the way I eat, like what triggers the way I eat, what when I'm eating badly, why am I doing that? And so essentially, she didn't say this, but when I walked away from our meeting, like it could have been summed up with, you don't need a nutritionist, you need a therapist, because I do. So it just came up over and over and over again in my hour-and-a-half conversation with her, like, oh, well, when I'm stressed, I do this, or I get fast food because I'm stressed, or when I know I'm gonna have a stressful day, I start it by going to Starbucks and getting a latte. Let's do it just like stress, 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 stress. And she was like, okay, so that's clearly an issue for you. And she was very kind and very, like, very patient, but it just became super obvious, like, hey, stress is going to be a huge trigger. Surgery is not going to get rid of my stress. Um, so certainly I need to work on that, and I need to work on shifting, like my soothing behaviors from food to something else. And she had some really good ideas. So she was like, so because basically what happens for me is if I have a bad day, I want to eat, and I want to eat whatever I want. It's not so much a problem because he's like, oh, let's cook. I've got this. He makes good choices for us. But when he's also had a bad day, and that's compounded with my bad day, it's a disaster because we're like, let's order 2 large pizzas and eat a whole one each. And like that makes total sense to us. And it really has just become kind of like a habit, like, oh, you had a bad day, let's get a pizza. She was like, okay, like you can still order a pizza, but just get one small one and make it like a veggie pizza, thin crust, and then pick up like a bag salad and eat that. So you're still doing the behavior, but you're just kind of controlling your caloric intake and you're controlling your nutrients and all that. So you're still getting the convenience, and you're still getting like the treat, but you're just kind of changing the size and the quality and what you eat it with. And she was like, so what can you do to kind of pause yourself before you binge eat at work or when you get home? And she's just like, you need to put roadblocks in your way to your binge eating, and to your stress eating. So that was like something I just hadn't thought about before, or she just kind of phrased it in a different way. It kind of stuck, and I've been trying to practice that. So my husband and I had a bad day last week, and we did that. We got a bag salad and we got a small pizza, and it was a lot better, and it like was not a catastrophe. I didn't feel terrible afterward, and I still stayed within my calorie goal for that day. So I think I'm gonna really like working with her. I gotta see her 5 more times, so I'm actually really excited about it. She gave me on the way out a sample of a Premier protein drink, which I'd had before, but it's cool that she gave me free one. She's like, and next time you're here, you'll get vitamin samples. So it's like a little treat for coming back. Get free samples. So that was pretty much it. Like I just wanted to kind of give a quick follow up on what my first appointment was like with my nutritionist. In a couple of weeks, I go for my upper GI exam. I have, monthly nutritionist appointments up until March. I have to go see the therapist at some point. So tracking along, I feel more and more confident every day in my decision. I haven't told anybody yet other than my mom and my husband. So I keep like thinking about telling my close friends at work. But I probably won't until like either right before or right after. Like it's just that's a bridge I'll cross when I get to it. So